Hey everyone, welcome back to DJUNO podcast. I'm Haju and today we are diving into something huge, how street people helped shape more than China's economy.
I'm Sion. We're talking about business legends who changed how China trades, shops, grows, inside the country and around the world.
And I'm Yang. Our focus today, Wang Yiran, Cheng Ma, and Colin Huang. Each of them are from a different generation, but all game changers in China economic rise.
Before we start, here's a quick background. Just a few decades ago, China didn't have private companies. The government controlled almost everything.
That started to change in the late 1970s, where Deng Xiaoping launched the major reforms to open up the economy.
And one of his key partners, Wang Yiran, who is the man behind CITIC, the first company to bring China and the global market together.
Without CITIC paving the way, the rise of tech companies like Alibaba or Temu wouldn't have been possible.
Exactly. And speaking of Temu, have you ever seen those super cheap ads everywhere online?
That's where we start today. Colin Huang, the creator of Temu and Pinduoduo, is part of the new generations of entrepreneurs who took China's digital economy global.
Let's dive into how Colin went from a quiet tech guy to one of China's richest now, and how Temu is shaking up the e-commerce world.
The person behind Temu isn't someone most people know, but once you state what apps he made, everyone immediately recognizes it.
Yeah, Temu became super popular lately. Even though it was launched not long ago, people in Asia and the West are already using it a lot. I was really surprised by how fast it spread.
It's big in Korea too. You've probably seen those YouTube videos like Temu Gang, where people buy tons of items because they're so cheap that they can review them one by one.
Right, Temu is an ultra low-cost shopping app that ships affordable products worldwide with free shipping. Have you ever tried it? The prices are so low that they almost don't seem real.
I've tried it a few times, and honestly, I found a lot of good items for really low prices.
Same here, but I kept thinking, how do they even make money with prices that cheap? But the numbers say otherwise. Just 6 months after launching, Temu became the most downloaded app and made nearly $2 billion in revenue in 1 year.
And it didn't stop there. In less than a year, it captured 40% of the global e-commerce market. Its market cap is currently about 280 trillion won. If this keeps up, it could even affect Korea's market in 20 years from now.
Temu has already changed how China exports. It's affected everything from pricing and production to shipping. The impact has been huge.
So, his name is Colin Huang. Right now, he's the second richest person in China.
He used to work at Google's US headquarters as a software engineer and a product manager. Then he moved to China and helped launch Google China. He got a solid tech background.
Using the experiences, he got into the e-commerce industry. In 2015, he founded Pinduoduo, a platform that mixes group by buying and social sharing. That became the foundation for Temu.
Yeah, the two platforms are similar. Temu is basically the overseas version of Pinduoduo.
But just selling cheap products isn't enough to explain Temu's massive success. So how did they grow this fast?
I'd say it comes down to two things: distribution and marketing. First, their prices are low because they use a model where customer data goes straight to the manufacturers. No middleman.
That's called the C2M model, consumer to manufacturer. It links consumer directly to factories. Because they control both the product and shipping, they save a lot of money.
It works well in China, where there's lots of factories that can respond quickly.
But more than just low prices, their marketing was incredibly bold, and that's what really helps them take off.
For example, they spent around 80 billion won on advertising. In 2024, they even had a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl with the slogan "Shop like a billionaire." Super Bowl ads cost about 300 million won per second, and they gave out coupons worth 20 billion won too.
They also made the app fun with games and offered free shipping and easy returns to build trust.
Plus, they went hard on influencer marketing. On TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, people were posting what they bought and reviewing it honestly. That really helped Temu feel more reliable.
That's how trends like Temu Gang started. A lot of people were surprised that the quality was actually decent, and that created even more buzz.
Thanks to Temu, Chinese manufacturers started doing better. Companies that lost sales due to slowing local economy began to export again. Some factories even raised their operation rates from 60% to 80%.
But still, Temu isn't perfect.
Yeah, because it skips traditional distribution, some products don't go through proper safety checks like Korea's KC certification. That means that you could end up with low quality or even unethical products.
And that might make negative views about Chinese products even stronger. So it's not a simple issue.
Still, when you look at the big picture, Temu is clearly helping the Chinese economy in a major way.
And it all started with Colin Huang's detailed and smart planning. That's what made this global growth possible.
And now we are diving into the story of someone who literally changed how China does business, Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba.
Wait, Jack Ma? Isn't he the one who used to be an English teacher before becoming a billionaire?
Yep, that's him. Born on September 10th, 1964. And get this, he wasn't born into a rich family, nor did he have connections with powerful people. He was all by himself.
Whoa, that's impressive. So he basically climbed all the way to the top on his own?
Exactly. What's even cooler is that he loved English from a young age. He used to ride his bike over 40 minutes every morning to a hotel just so that he could talk to foreign tourists and practice speaking.
Okay, that's dedication. I can't even bike for 10 minutes without complaining.
And he did that for 9 years straight. No English teacher, no online classes, just real conversations.
That's actually kind of smart. I bet he was a genius in school too, right?
Not even close. His grades were so bad, he had to take the university entrance exam 3 times before he finally got in.
3 times? So wait, bad grades, no money, no fancy connections. How did that guy become a CEO that represents China to the world?
He applied to 30 different jobs, but he got rejected from all of them.
He even got rejected from the police and KFC.
No way. How did he get rejected from KFC?
Yeah, but instead of giving up, he kept going, on and on until his failures became stepstones to becoming who he is today. One thing that made Jack Ma into himself was his curiosity. One time he searched online for information about a beer. Do you know what he found?
Only American and European beers, not a single Chinese one.
Okay, that's weird. You'd think China has plenty of beer.
Exactly, that's what Jack Ma thought too. He realized that Chinese internet had a huge gap compared to the world. There just wasn't enough Chinese language content, so he saw the business opportunity.
That's when he decided to jump into the tech world and create something of his own. But of course it wasn't smooth sailing.
What happened?
He tried working with the government, hoping to bring China into the digital age, but they were super skeptical. The internet was still new, and his ideas sounded too risky at the time.
Still, he didn't give up. He gathered 17 friends in his apartment, pitched his idea, and together they launched Alibaba, a platform for small Chinese businesses to sell products online.
And now it's like the Amazon of China?
Pretty much, except he started it without knowing much about tech or business, just a vision, grit, and a whole lot of persistence.
His story really shows that success doesn't come from perfect grades or a rich background. It comes from spotting problems, having a vision, and never giving up.
Honestly, I feel inspired. If Jack Ma can do all that after failing exams and starting from nothing, maybe there's hope for the rest of us too.
Exactly, a famous quote that Jack Ma said, "Never give up, today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine."
And that's the kind of mindset that built Alibaba and changed the future of business in China.
Okay, I'm officially adding Jack Ma to my list of role models.
Yeah, Jack Ma and Colin Huang, both of them are major entrepreneurs in China. They will build a new path of Chinese history.
I'm sure that after 100 years, or perhaps 50 years later, they would be referred as the historical figures of Chinese industry.
Wow, we're living through a time that will go down in history. We will be telling our grandchildren about this.
I wonder if people 100 years ago felt the same way.
Yeah, you got the point. I just want to talk about that one.
Oh, but at what point? Is there any historical figures of Chinese industry 100 years ago?
Of course.
But wait, When did we research about China 70 to 80 years ago? It was not a suitable time to continue the business because of the advent of communism in China.
Yeah, I think the period is one of the biggest turning points in Chinese history.
But how could they, the entrepreneur, appear?
Wait, but before that, I think it's time to talk about communism, the fundamental ideology of China nowadays. Yet it loses its meaning as the time passed.
First of all, communism banned one's private property, and the government managed the public property system to eliminate wealth gaps.
It means that they will manage all the assets, including private property, isn't it? That's insane.
Yeah, these days there are many entrepreneurs in China, but back when communism was dominant, a lot of capitalists actually left China and moved to another country, not to be taken away by the government.
If most of them left China at that time, how could they?
So let's move on to that. Let's talk about Lu Yiran.
Oh, I've never heard of him before.
Yeah, so do I.
And maybe, I guess you guys know many e-commerce groups.
Yeah, Ali, Temu, Shein, that's all I know.
Wow, there's so much C-commerce.
E-commerce? I mean, various Chinese e-commerce enterprises could thrive largely by many others' investments nowadays. And the CITIC has paved the way of globalization and investments. And Lu Yiran, we just talked earlier, he established a base enterprise, CITIC. It is the largest state-owned enterprise and stock company in China.
Oh, honestly, I don't know exactly, but I get the general idea of it.
But I know, because I also checked out some info about CITIC while researching about Alibaba.
Yeah, that's it. He knows everything.
Go ahead, Siwan. Tell us about CITIC.
Oh, well, okay. I will explain then. So CITIC, founded in 1979, was actually China's first major state-owned investment cooperation. At the time, it was nearly impossible for foreign capital to enter China, but CITIC acted as a kind of gateway that made foreign investment possible. It made businesses like Alibaba and Tencent were later able to receive outside fundings and grow rapidly. In short, you could understand that foundations for today's Chinese tech giants are the structure of modern Chinese industries started with CITIC.
Wow, sounds like GPT for sure.
How did it even come to start such a huge company?
Yeah, kind of. He could live in affluence by his wealthy family because his father was Lung Dasang, the major figure who highly influenced floor and fiber industry of China. So he inherited the enterprise, though he established CITIC when he was 70 years old.
So, when the Communist Party started rising, most capitalists were very unstable. But how about Wang Yuan's family business? Did they?
Before that, I want to talk about this. Honestly, Mao, who ran a Communist Party in China, he was willing to collude with capitalists.
Actually, that his will is very contradictory with communism.
Yeah, in communism, capitalists were almost treated as enemies of the state.
But the situation was a bit different when the People's Republic of China was first established. At the time, due to severe inflation and economic hardship, even Mao said, "Right now we must unite with the capitalists."
What? Mao stood up for the capitalist side?
Honestly, I think he needs capitalist money exactly.
So even the concept of new democracy theory, which was practically constitutional in nature, the capitalists were recognized as one of the key components of the nation.
So it means communists and capitalists were not the enemy at the first time.
Exactly. Lu Yiran was able to survive by working with the Communist Party, and he even gave out his company to the state.
I would say no if I was him.
But thanks to that, he became the deputy mayor of Shanghai and climbed pretty high up in the political ranks.
But you said he fell from his chair.
Yeah, because of the Cultural Revolution, it caused massive social and political upheavals in China. At the time, capitalists were labeled as enemies of the people, and the Red Guards punished them.
So yeah, Lu Yiran also got the humiliating yin-yang haircuts, the half-shaved hair.
Ew! It seems meant to shame people.
They even mulched his fingers, and he started working as just a factory laborer.
So, How did you know about it again?
Maybe through many books. Haha.
Seriously? What kind of stuff does he read every day? He knows everything.
But here's the twist. After Mao died, Deng Xiaoping actually calls Yunyan back.
Yeah, because China's economy was doing really bad around the time.
They wanted to escape poverty, of course, yeah.
It needs some public institutions to get foreign capital and technology.
And it led him to build CITIC.
Wang Yuren had both experience with the market economy and close ties with Communist Party. It made him the trustworthy person to strive a bridge between the West and China.
Oh, and that time was during China's economic reform and open door policy period.
Yeah, you got it. That's why Deng Xiaoping served as an impressive figure.
Oh, so he prioritized practically over ideology.
And there's a famous quote from him. Whether it is a black cat or a white cat, it's all about catching mice. It means whether capitalism or communism, it's all about well-being of nations.
He was such a practical reader.
He turned China from an isolated country into an open and connected one, so they could get investment from foreigners and even brought concept of market to the countryside. That was the main turning point of the Chinese industry. Their GDP percentage increased, factories established, and foreign enterprises started to get in China.
And today, China is known around the world as the economic powerhouse. It also has very different kinds of meaning for China itself.
What do you mean?
Because there weren't many cases where Chinese government directly invested in the enterprises previously. But after the CITIC case, the Chinese government showed interest in.
Right, and CITIC, the one he left behind, is still one of the China's largest state-owned enterprises. Even though he passed away in 2005, his influence is still very much alive today.
It's really fascinating how businesses can be so deeply and inextricably connected to the political and historical flow of a country.
And also the entrepreneur, what we call an innovator.
Before today's podcast, if you ask me who is that historical figure, I would say like the president or someone directly connected to politics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nowadays, as everything becomes more globalized, people or companies linking global networks appear to have more impact.
Totally. And at the same time, we shouldn't forget historical figures from early generations who laid the foundation for all of this.
Let me share my thoughts. I just realized something.
I want to hear that.
We need to be innovative people.
Haha. Even Wang Yuren and Deng Xiaoping.
Yeah, they didn't get stuck into a lot of ideology, so they could be innovative.
And that choice gave rise to figures like Jack Ma, Colin Huang in the Chinese industry today. Both of them are globally influential individuals.
One day, they will be remembered in history books.
Yeah, absolutely. I think historical figures also mean those who created innovation that fits their era.
Wang Yuren and Deng Xiaoping did that. They broke all the mold. Instead of being trapped in the ideology or systems, they chose what this time truly needed.
I think today's podcast keyword is innovation. Whether in industry or politics, it's about those who tried and realized something new.
Right, Wang Yuren created a new model of state-owned enterprises, and Deng Xiaoping brought market economies into communism. And now, Jack Ma and Colin Huang are driving another kind of innovations with technology and platforms.
You can see Temu and Shein. They are reshaping how people perceive made in China products.
Yeah, innovation doesn't need such a huge run. The main point is not to easily stay and accept all formative systems. The only thing that we need is to have courage.
Exactly. So I think that as many people living in the revolutionary and innovation era, we should focus on building mindsets that allow us to create meaningful choices and change ourselves.
Oh, it's Xuan again.
For me, innovation is not made by a special person, but by someone who can read the flow of the era.
Wow, that's a perfect summary of our podcast.
And I think it's perfect time to finish our podcast too.
Yeah, that was a good cut.
I hope you guys could get some new information from our podcast today. Thank you and bye.